Hi, our presentation is about housing, affordable and attainable housing in particular. I'm Carol Barber, Program Manager for Housing, and shortly you will meet my co-presenter, Yao Enin, Manager of Economic Development. Affordable and attainable housing. It is critical that we address housing affordability now, as the population is expected to exceed 100,000 in the next 30 years. Housing is not affordable now and likely won't be in 30 years. What type of policies could we develop now to increase the supply of housing for individuals and families with lower incomes? What are the requirements that we should put in place to support our vulnerable populations to help overcome the significant affordability challenges in accessing suitable housing? How can we address the rising cost of housing and the increasing gap between housing costs and the local workforce's ability to afford suitable housing? What type of regulation can be used to overcome current significant barriers to home ownership, such as high home prices and stricter mortgage qualification criteria? For example, we could consider updating the definition of affordable, implementing a rental replacement policy, developing a rent-to-own option, creating a tiny town model for Dufferin County.
Thank you, Carol. Over the next few slides, I'd like us to walk in the shoes of an average worker in Dufferin County. Looking at this table from Statistics Canada, the median total income of households in Dufferin County in the year 2020 was $108,000. So for this average worker's household, they would have to pay no more than $2,700 towards shelter for it to be affordable for them to live in the county. Now, why $2,700? Well, this is 30% of the before tax income, and 30% is coming from the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation's definition of affordability. And so looking at the average amounts of rented units within the county, looking all the way at the fourth column, you can see that 3-bedroom rented units are going for a total average of $2,980. And this was from the year 2022. That is slightly above our $2,700 mark. Now looking at home sales within Dufferin County, all the way at the bottom, you can see that the total average sale price for homes in Dufferin County was $1,020,000. So can our average worker afford to rent or own a home in Dufferin County? Well, to own, I did some calculations with a mortgage calculator with RBC, and for a total mortgage amount of $915,000, and with a 7% down payment, which is extremely rare, this average worker's household would have to pay $5,717 per month. And this cost does not include energy costs, which a 2021 report estimated at $2,372 annually. So about $200 monthly in addition to this $5,700. And of course, this does not include any additional costs to own in a home. And so at this rate, still keeping the 30% income rate, only households making over $228,000 will be able to afford the monthly mortgage rate. This, of course, is extremely high. Our total median income, as we discussed, was in Dufferin County was $108,000. So how many people, what percentage of people living in Dufferin County make over $200,000? Well, looking at the bottom of this table, again from Statistics Canada, only 14% of households within Dufferin County make over $200,000 and would likely be able to afford mortgage rates at their current prices. And I'll pass it back to Carol.
Thank you. Yao's data clearly demonstrated just how unaffordable housing is in the county. Let's consider an update to the definition of affordable and what that could look like. We could consider an income-based approach when updating the definition of affordable, setting affordable at no more than 30% of the household income before tax. Did you know that 56% of renters can't afford the average rent of a 2-bedroom apartment? Existing definitions are tied to market rents, which have risen faster than income, eroding who can afford housing. This needs to be considered. We must ensure that rents and prices for affordable housing reflect the income of low and moderate income households. Implementing a rental replacement policy. Although the province wants to build more housing, preserving and improving what already exists is important and much friendlier to the environment. New developments that result in the loss of rental units must be replaced. Replacement rental units must be the same in number, size, and type, or better address community need. The rent amounts of these units must be equivalent to the first occupancy and increase annually according to provincial guidelines for at least 10 years. Exploring a rent-to-own option. This is a creative path to paying for a home beyond renting or traditional mortgages. The biggest barrier to home ownership is the down payment. This option allows the down payment to accumulate over time. It assists those who do not qualify for a mortgage and allows you to live in the home before buying. For example, you can buy or finance a car. You can also lease one and decide later if you want to buy it. Why not treat housing the same way? What about creating a Dufferin tiny house community? We could build a micro housing project that is environmentally responsible, easily replicated, and affordable. 10 one-bedroom homes can be built on less than 1 acre of land. Modular units that can be built quickly with a rent or a rent-to-own or a purchase option. This will also provide an opportunity to develop a new industry where training and employment opportunities are offered.
Thank you for those great ideas, Carol. I have some additional possible solutions for the issue at hand. Some of the things that can also be considered are affordable housing strategies, revitalizing the existing housing stock, rental assistance programs, and workforce development. And the next few slides, I go into a little bit more detail about each one of these. But I'd like us to think of these possible solutions in terms of supply and demand efforts. So the first two can be categorized as supply side efforts to address the issue at hand, increasing the housing stock as well as just increasing the number of affordable homes for people to purchase. And then the bottom two can be categorized as demand side efforts, sort of helping increase the purchasing power of people within the county. And so affordable housing strategies, these can include streamlining the approval process for new housing developments, implementing inclusionary zoning policies, restricting transitionary rental units such as Airbnbs, community housing levy for large employers, and mandating mixed-use developments. We could also revitalize the existing housing stock by implementing programs to rehabilitate older or vacant residential properties, offer financial incentives to homeowners who want to convert their properties into affordable housing units, partner with community groups to facilitate home renovations for low-income households. And then for our demand side efforts, these can include expanding the current rental assistance programs, collaborating with local housing organizations and not-for-profits to manage new programs, and advocate for increased federal and provincial funding towards these efforts. And then finally, workforce development. Invest in job training, skills development, and education opportunities for low-income residents. It can include fostering partnerships between local businesses and government agencies to align workforce needs with housing development, and advocating for higher wages for workers. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you.